Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Project Zomboid, Build 42, has brought a lot of people back to the game, some for the first time ever. I myself fall into that second category. Having never played the game before, I wasn't sure what to expect. All I knew was that the first milestone I wanted to reach was to survive 1 week. Just one. That didn't seem so hard. I'm a veteran of 7 Days to Die after all. But I quickly found out that the experience didn't translate. In fact, it went about as well as you'd expect. As it happens, it took me much longer than I initially thought to make this video, as I just kept dying too many times, mostly within the first day. That hurt my pride a bit. But once I was able to conquer the first day, it only took a handful more attempts to make it through a full week, maybe a bit banged up, but still counted among the living. So for this video, I cataloged my most useful tips that led to my ultimate success. What this video is not is solely focused on Build 42 mechanics and correlating tips. Rather, this is much more broad, assuming the player is completely new to Project Zomboid and is not familiar with the entire game, let alone Build 42. That being said, some stuff new to Build 42 will naturally pop up here and there. Last thing before we dive in. I am as far from a grizzled Project Zomboid surviving veteran as they come, but I do come with the perspective of a fresh-faced new player, feeling the growing pains and learning curve that comes with the territory in real time alongside others just like me. So I thought it would be nice for others sharing that experience to have a place to gather, to learn, or maybe just to vent. I'd love to hear all of your survival stories in the comments below. And of course, more experienced players are welcome to join the party as well. I'd love to hear from you guys especially to tell me the nuances I missed or just got wrong. Alright, preface over. Let's get into it. When creating your character, some good new friendly traits are prone to illness, slow healer, weak stomach, cat's eyes, brave, fast learner, and stout. The negative traits chosen don't impact you too much, as if you get hurt or sick 9 times out of 10, that can ruin your run early game. And since as new players, you should only be worried about surviving a week, we want to maximize that goal. Speaking of which, while occupations like carpenter are very helpful for preparing for the loss of electricity by speeding up your carpentry skill XP gain, it isn't the most important for survival as a new player. Instead, go pure survival mode. Cat's eyes will give you better night vision because Build 42 apparently made the lighting at night more harsh. Brave will make your character less prone to panic around zombies. Fast learner will allow you to boost all your skills faster. And stout increases your strength by 2, decreasing the muscle strength gain during combat, ignore those other status effects, and increasing your combat ability, which is important for your survival as a beginner. If you still struggle to survive, consider swapping out Fast Learner and Stout for Strong, which gives you more strength. Echo Creek and Rosewood are the most new player-friendly starting locations due to the relatively low zombie population in those areas. However, I would have to give the edge to Rosewood. While it is a bit more dangerous than Echo Creek, it also comes with more available loot, increasing the odds of finding better weapons. In Build 42, zombie pop is tied to loot quality, and while the suburbs of Rosewood aren't exactly drowning in zombies, there are more opportunities for loot than your immediate spawn areas in Echo Creek. Immediately upon spawning, turn on the television and change the channel to the Life and Living channel to watch the cooking show. Every day at 6 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m., television shows air that will give you experience toward a skill up to a maximum level of 3. 6 a.m. is the cooking show, 12 p.m. is the carpentry show, and the 6 p.m. show will raise a random survival skill. Carpentry is by far the most important one to watch, as you'll want to hit level 3 to make rain collectors before electricity shuts off. However, make sure to turn down the volume on the TV or you might find you've attracted some unwanted attention. After watching the cooking show, remove a window curtain and make a sling bag. It has a decent carrying capacity of 10 and an encumbrance reduction of 50%. What this basically means is if an item of weight 2 is placed within the bag, the capacity would be 2 out of 10, but the total weight added to your carrying total is only 1. This will significantly increase your early game carrying capacity until you can find a better bag. In general, zombies do not spawn in the building in which you spawn. However, if your building has a basement, it is possible, though not guaranteed, that a zombie could be down there. So if going into a basement, make sure to bring a weapon. Over the first few days, you want to establish a temporary safe house, unless you're able to settle immediately into your long-term establishment. Loot everything in the vicinity, not only to get vital resources, but to also clear the surrounding area. Zombies don't respawn, so you can make yourself safer by clearing out the region in which you reside. That being said, zombies do migrate over time, especially if they hear noise like a house alarm or the helicopter event that can start as early as day 6. So just because an area is clear doesn't mean it will remain so unless the area is completely blocked off, which won't be the case early game. Speaking of the helicopter event, it can occur anytime between day 6 and day 9. You never actually see the helicopter, but you'll hear it, and if it spots you, the helicopter will start following you, drawing every zombie in the vicinity towards your location. That is why it is best to stay indoors the day in which it spawns. When looting a house, there is a chance it has an alarm, and upon entering, that alarm will trigger, calling all zombies in the vicinity to head towards that region. Obviously, retreat before you get overwhelmed. Depending on the number of zombies drawn to that location, it might be too dangerous to immediately return. However, not all is lost. Since more zombies are located there immediately after the alarm, that means there are less zombies in surrounding areas, allowing you to loot nearby locations with less zombies. When running away from a sizable horde of zombies, break their line of sight, preferably using buildings, but trees and bushes can work in a pinch, though that does impede your own line of sight and risks running into other zombies. While you can get away without a weapon, making use of shoves, fences, and foot stomps, you can quickly find yourself tired and surrounded if not careful. If you have difficulty finding a weapon immediately in your spawn building, consider looking for a stone outside. You no longer need to forage for stones and can pick up stones directly visible on the map. They will work decently well until you can find a more proper weapon. Though I previously mentioned it, make liberal use of shoves, fences, and foot stomps, along with the occasional overhead melee strike to the ground. It reduces muscle strain in your arms by using other parts of your body, and it reduces the wear and tear on your melee weapon. Always look around while engaging zombies. The last thing you want is to be ambushed from behind while fighting the zombie in front of you. Be constantly vigilant and periodically do a 360 to make sure you are safe on all sides. Well, except for the zombies you know are there. Speaking of looking around, whenever you are about to loot or enter a confined space like a garage, take the time to look around and ensure no zombie is going to immediately sneak up on you while you're busy. You are not a superhero, your character isn't ultra powerful, and you are not going to take on several zombies at once, especially early game as a new player. If it looks dangerous, it probably is. Better to retreat than engage zombies ill-prepared. Overconfidence was one of my leading causes of early deaths as a new player, so be ultra cautious. Standing on zombies prevents them from getting up, which will allow you to freely stomp on them or hit them with your weapon. If dealing with multiple zombies, you can also use it as crowd control to keep one zombie grounded while dealing with another. Similar to fences, zombies climbing through windows will face plant, giving you an easy kill. When taking on larger groups of zombies, lure a few off at a time to dispatch them. Make sure you lure them far enough away from the group so all of the fighting noises don't lure additional zombies over to your location. In Build 42, the speed and hearing sensitivity of zombies is randomized in the apocalypse scenario, so some zombies can hear from further away. Pulling too many at once is a recipe for disaster, and you should book it rather than risk death. Zombies can knock you down, and even worse, your hat could get knocked off. Try to maintain good positioning to avoid that scenario, as if you get knocked down around a horde, say goodbye. Don't forget to retrieve your hat afterwards. Two-handed weapons have reduced impact and damage if used in one hand, so make sure to equip it in both. If doors are locked, smash a window with a weapon in your primary hand. Any weapon will suffice, and make sure to pick up the broken glass by right-clicking on a broken window and selecting that option. Failing to do so will potentially cause cuts. Zombies will absolutely lurk within POIs behind doors or around wall corners. Be vigilant. Always flip on light switches when entering dark spaces. Naturally, this is only an option while electricity is still on, but make use of it while you can. Any excess curtains or clothes you find, rip them into rags for makeshift bandages. Alcohol or boiling water can be used to sterilize them to prevent infection. Whenever you get cut, you'll first want to disinfect with alcohol wipes to prevent infection. Upon applying the alcohol, it will increase your pain level. Use painkillers if you got them to lower that pain. Next, you'll want to ideally apply sterilized bandages, but non-dirty regular bandages or rags can work in a pinch if you need to stop the bleeding immediately. You can disinfect and apply bandages by right-clicking on them from your inventory or from the health status page, so as long as those items are in your inventory. There are 4 levels of pain depending on the severity of your injury: minor pain, pain, severe pain, and agony. Anything above minor pain will disallow you from sleeping. Take painkillers to temporarily reduce the pain so you can sleep. Short of pain relief, you can still fall asleep once your character is tired enough, though that may take a while. Always carry tweezers on yourself. In the event you get cut by glass, you'll need tweezers to pull out the shards of glass so you can treat the wound. Some common ways to cut yourself on glass is by smashing a window with nothing but your elbow, or by walking on glass barefoot. The last one might seem rather easy to avoid, but since your shoe condition decays, accelerated by stomping on zombies, you can lose your shoes if you're not careful and subsequently step on glass when you think you have shoes on. So I recommend periodically checking the condition of your shoes and grabbing a backup pair in the inevitable event you need new ones. Getting bitten is 100% a death sentence. You won't immediately die, so you'll have an opportunity to prepare for death if you plan on rolling with a new character in your current game, but there will be no way to slow or prevent your inevitable death and transformation into a zombie. As soon as you can, barricade your windows of your temporary safe house. This will slow down zombies from breaking inside if they attempt to enter. Up to 3 boards can be placed on either side of the window. To barricade your windows, you'll need a hammer, nails, and planks. All of these can be found in loot, though you can make your own planks if you have an axe to cut down trees and a saw to make planks out of the logs. Until you can make planks, pick them up within loot. Nails can be found individually, or if you're lucky enough, a box of nails which can contain 100 nails. In addition to barricades, and very likely before you have the adequate tools or materials to place them, as a first measure, close the curtains on every window. If the window doesn't have curtains, grab curtains from another POI and place them to cover any bare windows. This will block line of sight so zombies cannot see you. It will, however, do nothing to stop zombies from climbing through, which is why you will want barricades in addition. Duffel bags have increased carrying capacity and encumbrance reduction, and can be fairly easy to find within the first few days, either in a loot container or from a zombie corpse. You'll be able to visibly tell the zombies carrying a bag, so make sure to take it out for an easy upgrade. Fanny packs will also provide you a bit of extra carrying capacity for some smaller, lighter weight items. Grab a pillow when you find one. They provide extra comfort when sleeping, giving you better sleep quality. Make sure you sleep on the side of the bed with the pillow, as sleeping on the other side won't give you the bonus. Objects that are not within a loot container can be picked up from the environment, so don't ignore them. Food you loot serves different purposes. High-calorie items like peanut butter are great for keeping weight. Ideally, you want to maintain a weight between 75 to 80 kilograms. In general, sweets like chocolate bars, ice cream, milk chocolate, fruit jam, etc. will reduce unhappiness. So if you find yourself a bit depressed, munch on some snacks. Are you thirsty? As long as there is electricity, there is running water. Walk up to any sink and have a sip of tap water. No danger of getting sick. It is clean water, so take advantage while you can. Can openers are a great tool for opening canned goods. You can use a knife if you don't have one, but you have a chance to injure yourself. Pick up pens. They allow you to mark your map in a variety of ways, including placement of symbols and text. The color of the pen will dictate the color of the markings you have available. Upon establishing a temporary base, offload your pistols, magazines, and box of ammo. You won't be using your gun at this point due to the limited ammo and the amount of noise and attention it will generate. So save on your encumbrance to make room for more useful items while out looting. And if you do find more guns or ammo, no need to pick it up early on. Instead, mark it on your map and return to pick it up later when you have the opportunity. Flyers can be frequently found in mailboxes. If you read them and click on the lower right icon, it will show the POI on your map. By clicking on your inventory icon, you can search the bodies of fallen zombies. Use this to loot any useful items including digital watches, weapons, backpacks, and keys. This is the best way I've found to find watches and will allow you to track time of day to keep track of the Life and Living TV show schedule. Always be on the lookout for garbage bags or tarp. You'll eventually need them to make rain collectors, which will provide you a steady source of water once electricity goes out. Reading skill books provides a boost to XP up to a certain level. So for example, a level 1 skill book will provide extra XP for levels 1 and 2 of the skill, after which you'll need to read the next level skill book for additional XP boost at higher levels of the skill. Once you have skill books, kill 2 birds with 1 stone and read while watching Life and Living to maximize your time. If you are able to survive past a week, you'll want to collect yourself a screwdriver and any electronics. By using the screwdriver, you can dismantle electronics for electrical skill gain. At level 3, you'll be able to repair generators, which will become important once the electricity goes out. Ideally, you'd want to find some electrical level 1 and 2 skill books to provide an XP boost before performing these actions to maximize your XP gain per action. Over the first week, transport any refrigerated food you find and store them in your temporary safe house in the fridge. As electricity will eventually die, you'll want to prioritize using up this food first. In order to cook that food, you'll need appropriate cookware. While you don't need to necessarily grab pots, skillets, or other cooking accessories day 1, you'll want to make a bit of time to pick up a pot or 2 at some point over the first few days. To make a nice easy soup or stew, first grab a cooking pot and fill it with water. Next click Create Stew or Soup options. Depending on what ingredients you've collected, you can start adding food into the pot. To turn on the stove, either right-click on the stove to turn it on, or within the inventory view, click the Turn On button. Once on, you can place the pot inside the stove inventory and watch the cooking meter. After the bar fills, turn off the oven to prevent burning and grab the freshly cooked food. Right-clicking on a vehicle will let you know if it has any gas. Vehicles that are bone dry won't have the option. If you don't immediately have the capability to siphon gas, mark the location on the map to pick it up later. In order to siphon gas from a vehicle, you'll need 2 items, a gas can and a rubber hose. With items in your inventory, simply interact with the vehicle and choose the siphon gas option. During your first week, it would be nice to find a working vehicle, especially if you are playing the longer game and want to travel to better looting spots and for transporting all of your belongings to a permanent safe house location from the temporary one. That being said, you'll need to find a set of keys for a working car. By opening the vehicle menu, you'll also want to find a car with a decent battery and engine to get yourself moving. While it is important for your first week, if you are able to find a generator, immediately mark that on your map and come back to pick it up once you have a permanent safe house set up. Eventually, you'll want to determine your bearings so you can find important POIs you want to hit up for looting. A useful available resource is the map located at the following link, which is up to date with build 42. When I wanted to attempt to find a car and some better loot, I located a large POI nearby my safe house, the elementary school just down the street. Of course, if you want to discover everything naturally, by all means. But it is quite a handy resource if you want to plan out some looting runs ahead of time. Okay, honestly, I could just keep talking about this game because it's just so deep and full of little details. It is all too easy to head down the rabbit hole of any topic and get lost in it. At this point, I am not sure what the next Zomboid project I want to tackle next. Maybe move on to the second week, maybe a deeper dive into a topic I already covered. If any of you have suggestions, definitely shout it out. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. And if you got something out of the video, whether you found some answers as a new player, or you got some laughs in at how terrible I am at Project Zomboid, consider giving the video a like, as that greatly helps us out more than anything. And don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell for notifications if you want to join the Posse and stay up to date with our content. Lastly, a special shout out to our awesome Patreon community. Thank you all so much for your generous support. On that note, this is Eerie Knight signing off. See you all in the next one.